Fambulem una ado. This Psycho John Barry. I present this program for una today. As we dey approach the elections, una know say then and now can always bring people them to come discuss on national issues. Today, as una dey we get a very big and prominent somebody wey go can introduce himself, and somebody where we believe say he know the issues and he dey Sierra Leone dey, and he can articulate very very well. Then but make I not take una for long. Want we guest for introduce yourself. Can you introduce yourself, sir? I think so we get some technical issues. Let's see. Hello, Mr. Williams. I think say you don't go, but you know no more now we salon the internet and then stuff then dey, but I believe say we guest go join we. He go join we soon, inshallah. We dey try for see wetin dey go on so that we go continue with the program. Like Fambulem, we guess they come at any time. We dey try for sort out something because it just go off. I believe say na the internet, you know, no more now na salon. Yeah, because for come na a member of COPPP, na them form the COPPP, but in party na one of the political party them we then not be able for we then deregister anyway. They not allow them for contest. So if I don't come and talk on issues them like surrounding, well, why make them not allow them? Why make them not register them? So then, you know, talk on other national issues regarding the elections in Sierra Leone. But we'll just wait a little bit. I believe say he go join we soon. As we all know, say the elections dey na corner. We'll get for come back, we'll get for come talk on issues them in the future, like in few days' time. We get for talk on the political party, the manifesto. We don't see SLPP don't release their own, and then I think say today APC then don't release their own manifesto as well. So then I now get for discuss. Would they look into them manifesto then they with other national issues? We can hear violence again, half violence here and there. Yesterday will be hearing which may happen na Falaba district, na Mongo to be precise. Even though we not get official statement from the political party them, but we know say we be hearing say them be police them being voting say people them be run. They say they accuse some people and say they go intimidate them. But we get for bring all those issues to una, inshallah. We get for bring them issues and they to una. But while we still the wait for guest, we don't know what happen. It just abruptly go off. Okay, I think say he don't join me. I think say they try for join, and as soon as he join we'll go link them up so that the program starts. Until now all know sometimes Sierra Leone the internet, well, enough funny. Okay, so
Mr. Barry.
Yeah. I say you
Yeah.
just go off. I not say the internet was alone nine at the
Yes.
problem. So
Yes.
anyway, I will not introduce you, but I go want for make
Mm.
you introduce yourself more. You tell we viewers them would that get today in this program. Over
All
to you,
right.
sir.
All right. Well, family, and I appreciate and good evening. First of all, would you accept my apology for this? What happened? EDSA go off just now, so we can get for switch the generator and that make we go offline. Anyway, we're back on now. Um, so let's tell me something about me. First of all, me not to the important issue now today. The important issue actually, now COP, MPD, and the election where they come. But just to introduce myself, my name is Wadi Williams. That's all man know me. I'm the chairman and leader of the National Progressive Democrat. I'm one of the founder members of that party there. I will tell you about MPD subsequently, but now which I want to look at na COP. MPD now one of the founding members of COP, and really that is the issue where I think say we get for ideas. And that's really I want to talk about.
Yeah, so but you now would at the NPD.
The MPD, National Progressive Democrats, MPD, in a political party now.
Okay.
We participated in the election, the last election. I think we came 7th out of 13 parties, but we're a very young party.
Okay.
You know, now we're a recent party. And what you make we different from all the other party then, or most of the other party then. We not come from the two main party then, not to APC or SLPP we come out. We are an original. We do not represent either of these parties. We are something new. Now the defining feature that of MPD. We are, if you want to know what we say is we're committed to the liberation, unification of Africa in general and Sierra Leone in particular. So the party where they talk about, so the MPD, is committed to the liberation, unification, and transformation of Sierra Leone. And we're totally committed to the three pillars then, where this country turn up: unity, freedom, and justice. Now that's what we there for. Those are the defining features. And I make this election, is epoch defining. It's one of the most important elections where we don't get. Because the decision we make on this election, go shape the way we salon get for the next generation or two. So not to play thing in the back. Now I think so we take this thing very, very seriously. And I mean very seriously. And it's on that basis that I feel say this discussion, we not for just look like this election like any other election. No.
Okay, so
This election.
we therefore come to that. But you mentioned say you party would have been contest the last election, right?
Yes.
So why would I not contest this time round?
Well, the point is the PPRC refused for qualify we. Now that have been said just now. The PPRC, which now the organization was supposed for regulate political parties then. And ECSL, when the organization then combined and they make decision whose party qualify for going to the election. By whatever means, then decide say of the 17 parties we register now, 3 parties they not qualify. All 3 parties then are we were members of COP. In my case, in the MPD case, then we explain to them, say we're going to conform to the requirements of our own constitution. I don't want to take all man deep inside this, but the point is this: constitution will empower the chairman for have a convene a meeting of the executives and so on for make decision about what we can do with this regard this election. We call it a special convention. Now, we tell PPRC bodies, we tell the Senate that's what they can do. In view of this change in the electoral process, where the government shift from first past the post to this new proportional
PRC.
representation.
Yeah.
Now, for the last 5 years, our entire preparation has been to deal with first past the post, to our strategy now for deal with that particular electoral process. 6 months from that now the government decided to change all things. Now we want proportional representation. Now we want list system as opposed to the individual candidate. So obviously, we will get for reconfigure the whole process. Now we write to the PPRC, we say, look, listen, given these new changes, we want to make sure we get a convention where we go ensure every party agree and decide how we go address the issue. So we send them to the PPRC. And then no further reply we said. There also the question of offices. We send them the information about our offices. They're not bother acknowledge that. The first thing we hear, then say they don't disqualify three party there. MPD na one, UP na the other, C4C na the other one. And so we've gone through this process. We don't contact them, but we understand what to make them behave. So.
Okay.
From
Before we
yes.
go into that, what in are the grounds them? What in are the reasons where then tell una say make them disqualify una?
Because they say we for do district, local level, etc. Convention.
Convention, yeah.
Yes. The problem we had is to do that in the time frame where they give it not impossible. Because when they say we for do these things, we write them. We point out waiting with constitution, we own constitution, where PPRC then say pass, when they approve, when they gazette. In that constitution, it empowers the chairman to convene a special convention. So now that we say these are special circumstances. We want to convene this convention so we can make the decision we will get from make concerning candidates, etc. They say, power. They say no. So now we get a small problem here. In other words, we insist that we want to go with the constitution where the PPRC then self-approved from get-go. Now make win a party. And they are saying, power, no, we forgo some other direction where they don't decide. Well, my view is the defining law or rules for a party now a constitution, and insofar as it doesn't violate the national constitution, it stands. Now that we party day for, now that we party stand for. But can't tell we say we for violate we own constitution. No, we refuse.
Yeah, but then SFK say we have to go in line with the PPRC rules, no?
Well, the PPRC rules do not necessarily violate the constitution of the party. The fact is there's nothing in that regulation that the chairman can convene a convention, a special convention. Not in order to violate the PPRC rules with that. Nothing. So the insistence that we forgo in that particular process, if the real objective, now for opening the political space, for letting people in this country express themselves, you do that for can be in lock of 1, 2, 3 party there. What happened to what do they expect to happen to the people that will support the party there? They are disenfranchised. Disenfranchised. If we comply with this, we will call it. So what you tell me, people who vote for we last election, people who vote for C4C, the people who vote for UP, they will not be able to express that particular view, their particular political view. I mean, you know, look, I tell you say that na democracy would. Of course not.
So would not be take any legal action against PPRC?
Yes, we've been in touch. Yes, there's almost a class action. UP has been leading the legal move on this issue. UP, that's Unity Party, Madam Claudia Scroll. Her party has been leading the fight against this disqualification. However, that is one route where we don't take. That is one line we don't take. But not to the only line, because we're not going to say no more the whole thing for stop, because then try for impede with progress. So we don't try for make some certain adjustments. For example, and I don't know whether you know, 2 parties then went at the consortium. We qualify, APC and PMDC. What we don't try for do now is that there has been a strategic arrangement where the PMDC list in Kono is populated by C4C candidates. So the people then, even though the PPRC don't disqualify C4C, nevertheless, C4C people then will be standing in the election, but under PMDC banner.
All right.
You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
Now that way we don't get around that problem there, that particular problem there in Kono. So we can safely say the progressive forces are likely to retain Kono. But, and this is what I'm saying about we are going to declare for a particular ticket.
Mm-hmm.
COPPP will be making a declaration of exactly which ticket we support. And this is why can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
This is why.
I can hear you.
Okay.
You just disappear no more now, but we dey hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, this is why in the next week or two we'll be making a declaration for a particular list, and this is why we had the way APC don't pull the manifesto come.
I don't know
So
if now
obviously,
you I don't know if now you the laptop where they use or waiting, but we know they see you face.
you understand
Okay,
now?
yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah. Waiting I've been say
mm-hmm.
we glad the way APC don't pull the manifesto come, because that manifesto there we can call them the manifesto for unity, the manifesto for inclusivity. That we don't search, we don't look outside. We want to begin heal the scars them when a result of the current regime. And I must say we were very impressed, and I speak as the MPD and I speak as member of COPPP. We were very impressed with the APC manifesto. It speaks directly to the key issues, and it has a central theme, which is inclusivity. We have to repair the tribal, the regional, and even the gender contradictions. So
So sorry,
for that,
you been attend the launching of APC manifesto today.
no, I did not attend the manifesto today. I was actually engaging various members of my party in determining what our position is going to be with in regard this whole issue. We have tried, having listened to the manifesto, and also having previously heard and listened to the SLPP manifesto. I think we're in a very good position now to make an informed decision about which slate or list COPPP will be supporting. That will become public knowledge when we actually do
But
our support for.
critics go
Pardon?
say well, afterwards una not being really like they closer to SLPP. So if una go to APC, not to news, what thing you go say about that?
No, I think it's dangerous to lock this thing into what you could call this kind of binary discussion. The
Okay.
issue is not about APC or SLPP. The issue is not about C4C or MPD. The issue is about Sierra Leone. What is in the interest of this nation? What is in the best interest of this nation? That has to be the primary concern. And believe you me, we already have 5 years receipts for this current government. We have the receipts. And ask yourself, when I bet a pass on been there 4 or 5 years ago. The reality now, better. Look, today, we look at the price of the basics and tell me, say, we're in a better position today. Tell me, say, we're in a position with a more democratic, a more liberated society. But no, nobody in a right mind go look in our eye, tell we say so. We already have a hackathon. When I say hackathon, I mean the Boku demand the way they don't kill this country over the last 5 years. We can't sit down and say we will do nothing. We can't sit down and say this is what Salon is. No, it's not to Salon go.
So
And we have
how
a right.
well you don't see one of una member of COP when at the NDC they end up for form an alliance with the SLPP. So when would they expect una for work with the APC on like in the interest of Sierra Leoneans as like how you they try for say so?
Well, what I want to say is we have to understand APC is a member of COP, not a COP, a member of APC.
Okay.
There are other parties in COP. PMDC is in COP, UP is in COP, C4C is in COP. And of course, MPD is in COP. So we tend to look at this thing as if, say, COP is an appendage of APC. No. COP is an organization to which APC also belongs.
Okay.
Without doubt, APC is the largest and oldest party in COP. But that does not mean that COP belongs to APC. What we have in common with COP, with APC, is a shared vision. believe you. Play, done. The reason why APC is inside COPPP, because we all inside COPPP share this clear vision. We are committed to the transformation of this nation. And we know say all man don't come over time, they promise this, they promise that, but they not deliver. That is where we start. The defining feature
some people
of
go
the
argue
next
say,
government.
well, some people go argue say, well, after us, APC, SLPP, now them been done, they rule this country, then say been done fail.
Yes,
So what you wanna go say
yes,
now? Una we new, and una we say, okay, una na new people, we wanna get a new
yes,
vision, and then una they work
yes,
with one of the old political parties, the way share the bad name of taking Sierra Leone where it is today. What you wanna go say? What you wanna go
yes.
tell people and they?
Well, what you will say is quite simple. We say when we look at APC and SLPP, on one level, we for thank them. After an APC 9 pull Salon Command from colony to independence. Let us not forget that. We for say thank you to APC. Now they pull we from that to Republic.
Now
We became
APC or SLPP, I be feel saying as
no
some
SLPP. Yes, that is independence. We gained
yes.
independence with Hamilton. We became a republic
Okay, yeah,
with
that
APC.
was
So now the two major achievements that we then two party are on yet. Their record in power is not extraordinary, it's not exceptional. They have done what they do, and what we have today is the best that they have been able to do for 60 odd years. What we get today. Because now then two party no more don't get power now. So the issue is when we talk about something new, something, if you like, transformative, then we cannot look exclusively to them two party. They are from another millennium. What we're looking at now in building in COPPP is the progressive elements in Sierra Leone politics, like the APC, like UP, like C4C, like PMDC. These are self-declared progressive parties. Now, we don't come together to create a new kind of political reality now. The government that will come at the end of this election will, by definition, be inclusive, will, by definition, begin to repair the scars where this nation don't get for endure. Nine make COPPP the TINAP, nine make COPPP day, because we get all the tribes there inside, all the regions there inside. The question of gender, in fact, we lead an woman, or chairman a woman in COPPP. All these contradictions, we get the solution inside COPPP. In terms of economy, if we want to talk about economy, COPPP is committed to a mixed economy. If we want to talk about other issues, COPPP is committed to a living wage. So the clear issue where COPPP is on side with the APC manifesto. COPPP is on side with the PMDC manifesto, and COPPP is on side with the...
If I can ask you, wanna contribute in any way to the formation of the APC manifesto now, wanna contribute?
Yes, we were in discussions. The chairman of COPPP, Madam Femi, was in discussion with the committee that actually drafted that manifesto. I myself have spoken to people who were involved in the drafting of that manifesto. So it's not a document that just emerged out of the blue. No, it's a document that's a product of consultation of various members by members of COPPP. So in other words, APC have been able to sculpt, to shape a manifesto that speaks to the core issue of this nation. And it is fully in compliance with the COPPP position. We are fully in agreement with this. And I think you will find this being said both by the chair of COPPP and the component members of COPPP. So it is important that we understand this. COPPP is a new territory, a new reality in Sierra Leone politics. And I think we need to understand that. And I think you will see it's not just the outcome of the next election, but the difference will be, the key difference will be, the next government will deliver. Let me say this as someone that is keenly attuned. I have spoken to many people that are involved in this drama. And one thing we all share is that this time, where we don't gap up, we won't say we go do this, we have to deliver. And we expect the people to insist and compel the new government to deliver. I think that then attitude we begin introduce. So we begin gain confidence in governance. Gain confidence in governance. Say we government not the camp for can thief. We government not the camp for can begin kill people there. We government not the camp for can literally repress this society. And we want to make sure say the population then demand of the new government that we behave in a proper way. In other words, the citizens now for realize say the government will come not the government and they get right to demand certain things from that government. In other words, what I'm trying to say, we must move. There's certain things we must see as rights and not privilege. Not a privilege to go to school, not a privilege to get proper medical care. Those are rights. And you can see the new government, the incoming government after this one, those are things they will hold. Health care is a right. Education is a right.
You believe say the COP will able to succeed for win these elections where they come?
You see, personally, I don't think it's an issue of COP winning. Let me say this again. It's a question of this nation for the first time winning. Let me just explain why. The last election, this nation, they vote for SLPP president. In other words, they gave the executive to one party, that is SLPP. They gave the legislature, the people who make the laws them, to a different party, APC. APC had the majority after the last election in parliament. What did this government do? Immediately, it destroyed the people's specifically expressed will. Say, you know what I want? I want an inclusive government. I want a national government. When I pass laws in our parliament, the president go approve them, but he will approve them if it's in compliance with what the nation needs. Likewise, if the government wants something for pass, the only way you go pass, now if it's in compliance with what the government needs. The first thing the government do is smash that. So from get-go, the original sin, we make with the situation also, that they refuse to accept the will of the people explicitly. Now, which in the French can call cohabitation or cohabitation. Now that the people have been choosing the last election. For make sure say we don't make the same mistake for leave an opening, let the government, let the whatever the government is, transform or change the people's will. This time, we're going to make sure we win not just the presidents, but parliament. So we'll have, when I say we, I mean the progressive forces. We'll have control both of the presidency, the executive, and this is important, the legislature, who suddenly pass laws and rules them. Once we have that, then the program that we have, the program where the APC just outlined, the program where COPPP itself got outlined, which will be, the two will be compatible. You could see them program they implemented in Nasalonia. We will see a deepening of democracy. We'll see proper employment. We'll see a development, literally, a rapid, environmentally and ecologically sustainable development. We're talking about a brand new way of doing business in Sierra Leone. You know, those are the kind of ideas we're talking about. We're talking about genuine, you know, the infrastructural things that we have to develop.
So let's go into proper business now, because now let's assume say if PPRC they may approve now you for don't be the presidential candidate for your political party, even though you go be a member of COP. Now, but like what you wanna get now, let's say for the economy, because you see what they happen in the country, what
Yes.
you wanna feel say una go can do for reverse the current situation of the country.
Okay. Look, I know people and they talk about pretend, but we can do this, we can do that. There's certain fundamentals where we get from. Certain fundamentals. When we talk about our economy, whether we like it or not, our economy is very much close to being in shambles. What I mean by that is this. What actually is the objective of this government in real terms? What is the objective? We want to develop our economy, presumably. We want to provide employment for our citizens, presumably. We want to transform our nation, presumably. Well, there are certain ways. We looked at the mixed economy. That is an economy that has both the state influence and the private sector influence. That is working together. The government sets out the agenda, sets out the developmental program, and works with private entrepreneurs and businesses, workers. We bring these people together so we establish the way we want to develop. And I'm not saying something new. That is exactly how they did it in Korea, in South Korea. They brought entrepreneurs, workers, business managers, and the state.
So you feel
We
say
face
we
them.
get enough of them kind entrepreneurs them dey in a salon, or how una dey do wetin una get for do
Oh yes.
wetin una policies for like for attract foreign investors, or like for
Yes.
wetin una policy like for improve on the private sector. Wetin we just want those specifics.
Uh, well, when the reason why I mentioned this thing about a mixed economy, you
Mhm.
see, I think one of the ways of developing this economy is PPP, public-private partnership. We need to be able to attract significant investments. However, we need to be able to utilize that investment not to enslave our people. So one of the things we'll do in terms of PPP, that is public-private partnership, a staple and permanent line will be this. This nation must have 51% of any PPP. In other words, the major share in any PPP will be held by this nation. I say that as a precursor to what I'm going to say concerning our resources. I will say something that perhaps will surprise many people. Recently, it was claimed that the fact that this government, this nation, has 10%, has access to 10% of the almost $2 trillion worth of iron ore we get now. We are now signed up to receive 10% of that. That means in 90% they go other side. This is our position. Waiting we go argue for is that we should revisit every one of the major contracts that are currently deal with our raw materials. Every one of them. We must revisit them. We must begin to realize the value of the assets that we have. It is almost criminal negligence that we can have such resources and remain so ridiculously poor. It shows a level of incompetence that's almost incalculable. 2 million, nearly $2 trillion worth of assets. That's just iron ore. We're not even talking about all the other assets and resources where we get. We're not even talking about our agricultural resources. We're not even talking about our fishery. How we manage there and we are poor, it's beyond means.
Yeah, but again, like Sierra Leoneans them don dey yeri den kind statement then ya bokutem from politicians them. Well, like how we for know, like how what you feel say like stand out like with Wuna for sure say Wuna different from the other politicians that will be known to make them kind of statement there.
Right. In economic terms, in economic and financial terms, first of all, one of our first things we are supporting is introducing a living wage. Now, I know this sounds strange, but the living wage, the idea of the living wage, it's not just that it improves the condition of the vast majority of our population, but it also stimulates the economy. When you pay people a living wage, then kind people that increase, they're not going to take that money, they go Switzerland or go where they go buy where they can and so on. They invest that money there in their local community. Now the local shop, now they then go buy things, now that shop thing now go grow. And as it grows, so it employs more people. So we begin to turn the economy around by first of all paying living wage. That's a non-inflationary stimulus for the economy. That is just one. We also now want to change the way we educate our nation. We need to become technologically literate. Just like 100 years ago, if you not been sabi read or write, you were disadvantaged. We need to introduce a rapid integration of technology into our nation because that is the vision of tomorrow. That is exactly what tomorrow has. So if we want to develop, if we want to feed our people, if we want to really blossom, we need to provide the wherewithal to do that. We need to take command the heights of our commanding economy. We need to provide what I consider to be the enabling environment. How do we do that? Well, I think one of the things we can do, the government can begin to fund certain projects in particular areas. I mean, look, we get rice now. You know the rice that Monty Jones developed. I don't know whether you know that.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know that rice? That rice in Uganda, they shifted from maize as their staple diet to that rice. Here, we should boost farming, Naya, subsidize farmers that develop that rice, give them tax incentives to develop that rice, and make sure we absorb the labor of the youth and so on that we have, draw them back into industries that we're going to develop in the interior. That is necessary. We need to shift employment
But
from
how
the unemployed.
the thing where they talk about not on a very large scale something like farming business they talk about. I don't know whether I believe say you they follow the SLPP President Julius Maada Bio they
Yes.
say this in second term they focus more on agriculture. So like I wonder because there's episode in the focus like then the pour the state resources there for develop that sector there. So I wonder when I say let's say like una succeed, who say una go pull the money, how una go able for make that sector they succeed. Who say una the push resources for poor there so that Sierra Leoneans them go see changes in terms of feeding the nation.
Right. Now, it has both an internal and external impact. One of the things about developing agriculture is the employment that it will provide. In other words, if we really address the issue of what I call food security, if we really address that, then we can mop up a huge chunk of the unemployment. That's one. Usai we go pull the money for it, for do large scale agriculture. It is already there. The land is there, the know-how is there. Providing funds, we can do that from the budget, so we can fund large-scale agricultural development. And believe you me, it will not be impossible to attract investment into that. Seriously, this is a key area. Attracting investment into agriculture is not as difficult as it sounds. There's a new development bank. There are all kinds of institutions that, insofar as we have a sane and balanced government, a demonstrably non-corrupt government here, we will get the funds to do that. Believe you me. And I mean, we will get the funds not just internally in terms of people here, but externally in terms of finances that are available. So it is not as difficult as you think. It's a question of getting the right, not just the right leadership, but getting this government and this economy aligned with what you might call modern practices. We have to avoid the problem that we have with corruption. We have to avoid the problem that we have with the lack of planning. Well, what
Okay,
MPD will do? Yes.
I will bring you back. Make I just talk to Fambulem. Fambulem on the watch live program with Mr. Wadi Williams, one of the leaders, political leaders in Sierra Leone, and a member of COPPP. So he talk about COPPP. We talk about various issues as Sierra Leoneans, almost like in almost less than a month or barely a month for go to elections. So we can talk about issues them where concern the lives of ordinary Sierra Leoneans. So, Mr. Williams,
Yes.
you know how the inflation they go na the country, how inflation day, how the dollar don't day, and the leos don't almost die. So what in Wuna get? How Wuna go effect change for level dollar for level leos come to life?
Right. One of the things where we get now, which I can call price inflation. And I know the government, they say this is because of external factors. That is not wholly true. It's not just external factors, because we can mitigate, we can adjust the impact of them factors. For example, we're talking about expenditure. There are many areas where we can curb that expenditure. I mean, Oman, highlight this point about the way the government is careless with the nation's finances. I don't know whether when I abreast of some of the work where Africanist press don't do. Africanist press don't identify what you might call the heart of corruption of this government. That has to change. Secondly, we have to provide incentive and enabling environment for entrepreneurs. We get young people now, we have some amazing ideas. There's a young man, for example, who's developed some amazing apps for drones, unmanned flying equipment. That is something that we can develop. There are people who are speaking now in Sierra Leone about this concept of global bartering. These are new apps that we can do, new ways of conducting business. Sierra Leone can do this. So let's not be frightened to do something new. Let's not be frightened, for example, to pour resources into mobilizing our market women. These are women.
As specifically, waiting una get for do so that the leons will come to life. Because at the moment, I understand say $100 now over 2,400,000
Yes.
around that. So like waiting una
Yes.
get for come make the leons go dumb, because like I believe say from 2018 leons the dollar to leon like now be 700,000 leons, but now it don't $100 don't go about 2 million, about 400 or so. So waiting una get for do, for example, for reduced standing for make the leons get life back, and that
Well, the thing about the leons, it's pegged in many ways to the dollar. In other words, we tend to peg that currency to the dollar. I think that is a mistake. I think the way we tend to track the dollar is a mistake. And this again is something that is unusual. I think Sierra Leone has to look at the very essentials of our economy. What do we have, and why is it that with progressive every week, every month, we find this massive increase in inflation? What causes inflation is basically too much cash chasing too few goods. In other words, we have to say, if now one apple you get and 10 man want buy that one apple day, the price will go up because they go compete. If not 10 apple you get and a one man want buy, your price will tend to come down. You understand what I have to say? Huh? It's clear. Now, and that is the problem in terms of what they call price inflation. Insofar as we don't produce enough, we don't trade enough, we will have this problem. Insofar as we have a leaking economy, we will have this problem. Insofar as we have a government that has not got the grips of these issues, whether it be fiscal, whether it be financial, we will have these problems. So what we need to do, change the government. And here I would say this about Samuel. He is one of the most experienced, the most able financial and economic practitioners in Sierra Leone. By this, I'm referring to the APC presidential candidate, Samuel. He has.
Sorry, I don't know whether you will watch this same program now or the gadgets. You go look for what is put down the off, because they re-echo. It's like you they watch them somewhere else.
Hold on. Let me just make sure that
Yeah.
is it better now?
Yeah. So you can, let's continue.
Okay. Yeah. What I'm saying, and here I don't apologize for saying this, that we have in Sierra Leone an extraordinary economist with enormous amount of practical knowledge in terms of organizing an economy or shaping an economy. One of the things we must say is that in transforming Sierra Leone economy, we could not have a better person at the helm other than Samuel Kamara, the presidential candidate for APC. my view is that the plan that he's outlined, I don't know whether you've had a look at the manifesto, the plan that is outlined for development is precisely what is necessary. You know, we need to have an enabling environment, and the way we provide an enabling, yes.
But in critics, then he say, well, how well you don't, yes, then agree say he get experience, but they said he's part of the problem.
I think you need more data to say it's part of which problem. Part of the problem that
Because
we have an inflation rate.
they say it don't serve almost all the government them save this SLP.
Yes, yes. But
So
let me tell you, the last.
They say in the country in economy not being they do well, all these they almost all like Sierra Leone they will say they already because of economic failures, blah blah blah. So they say and Samura been they part of them. So therefore he the office will be effective leader. So what you will tell me about him? How effective
Well, I would tell you, first of all, we tend to forget that during a period during the last government, the previous government, Sierra Leone had one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Who were the people in charge then? The same APC then and Samura then. So it's not that there's no record of success. The point I'm making in terms of experience, I see no one in the current political leadership that has more experience or better experience. That is one. Secondly, we have to look at where Sierra Leone is now. We need someone, a technocrat, who can pull these levers together so we begin to operate efficiently. Now, I know that some will say that Samura is not as bombastic and loud as everybody. That's not the point. That's not what Sierra Leone needs now. Sierra Leone needs a steady hand that can reknit our economy. And I can think of no one in Sierra Leone right now, or open to Sierra Leone, that has better experience, better knowledge, and a better feel for the economy of Sierra Leone. Samura understands the problem. He has wielded the machine of government. As a technocrat, he can put these pieces together so we have an efficient government. So when you are, it's simply this. We have to address the issue about youth unemployment. We have to address the issue about this massive price inflation. We have to address the issue about the fact that the indigenous people are we're almost becoming tenants in our own land. Indigenous people are we're almost begging to have access to our own resources. These are things that a new government can address. And at the bottom of that, we have to change the economic realities of this country. We have to change the economic realities of this country. We have to address not just the income disparities and inequalities. We have to put in place a way of utilizing the monumental assets we get.
Yeah, so but outline almost desires. You have to do this, you have to do that. But you know they tell we, you know they make you feel practically how that will be achieved.
Well, what are we saying? You mean how an economy will grow and how the people will make sure that the people will get an equitable share of the growth of that economy? You want me to tell you how it is we'll put PPP together, public-private partnership? So what is missing in this analysis? I mean, you want us to talk about what we need to do with the education system so it's fitted for the 21st century, so it's fitted for a developing nation? Do you want me to speak about how? Do you want me to speak about how we can relate to other? Yes.
Yeah, because let's assume say somebody will not ever. Of course, we don't know about economics, we don't know about governance, and then how people, and now this is elections time, and a lot of people will listen around the world, and people then they will listen with the Sierra Leone. So if you talk about Samura, say, okay, you believe say this is not the fittest person, so you get to explain so that the person will connect, say, okay, now this specifically Samura get for do will get for affect me positively in my life. So now that's how I'm for make you explain to viewers.
Jobs. That is the building block of anything we want to do. We have to provide jobs because it does one or two things. It develops our economy, provides the raw material for our citizens. And so the first priority is providing jobs. And jobs, believe it or not, it's not just the government that can provide jobs. We have to create an enabling environment so people can do business and they can employ people there. That is something the government can do. We also have to be able to collect the taxes that are due. Roads they not go build simply because we don't say we want to build roads. Schools they not go come because we say we want schools. We have to pay for them. We have to build them. So taxes, this government will have to collect taxes, and we will indeed have to make sure that those that are more affluent to the Commonwealth. And to that extent, those taxes, and this is how it will be different from the current government, every single penny that the government receives as tax, as a part of our budget, every single penny that is spent will be logged and documented. In other words, what we want, to give you an example, our Minister of Finance, every month or every quarterly, they will put out information on exactly the monies they've paid, who they've paid it to, and what is supposed to be done. And we expect a similar report from the recipient of this. The reason why I'm saying this is a way to remove the kind of corruption that's a core of the system. That means when we decide to release funds for certain things, whether it be release funds into agricultural sector, it gets there. That's why we have a budget. When we release funds into various areas, we can track that and monitor that, make sure that it goes where it's supposed to go and is used the way it's used. That's one area where we can repair the damage. In terms of employment, one of the first things we have to do, we have to go about reskilling our people. A people or nation without skills can be nothing other than poor. STEM in our education system. So we equip people to actually develop. We will invest in that.
What will be better than waiting there now in terms of education? Like the SFPP, then they pride themselves in free quality education. So what you wanna get different?
Listen, they've spoken about quality education. We don't have quality education. We have a lacking capacity. They're not enough. We haven't trained our teachers properly for this new development. We don't pay them enough. In other words, the whole thing about a quality education and so on, it's a fiction. Let me give you an example. You know, people that were born, I don't know, should we say 30 years ago, during the period of the Civil War or the Rebel War? Do you know there's a whole raft generation that have had very little access to education? Back into the economy in a more forceful way. What I mean by that, you see them people when we born during the Civil War, they miss school. They miss the basics where we need for engaging this economy. For example, in terms of training education, our education will be based on STEM. That will be the core issue. We will also make sure that we don't leave those people who were victims in many ways of the Civil War behind. We want to have a far more extensive reach of adult education. Skill, by that I mean the basic fundamental technical skills. We need to reskill our population. That is how we do that. That involves funds, yes? I'm sorry?
I say, so that the part of the plans.
Yes, of course. Yes, I mean, look, this nation, we need to literally transform this nation. We don't have sufficient people that are technically educated. We don't have sufficient engineers. We don't have, none of that we don't have. You can't build a nation without that.
So tell me, how prepared are you guys for takeover governance? How prepared are you?
You know, I think we have to understand one thing that we're prepared to do and one thing that we're equipped to do is to take over governance as it is now. What I can say, and I will say this again, this is not about an individual, either Samura or me or somebody government. This is about the people of Sierra Leone taking control of our destiny. And having, if you like, whether it be the various leaders today, the progressive leaders, taking the responsibility, assuming the levers of power, and begin to direct Sierra Leone in that direction. We all don't spend generations they pray for, they ask for, they dig for, and some of we don't even die for. We cannot and we will not allow this opportunity to slip.
Okay, somebody who na one of we viewers, and I believe say na somebody who na irregular viewer, he say make I ask you say why now APC been get the opportunity for re-educate the people. He say but them be focus on only building roads. So he say why now when they talk about re-educating people.
You know, earlier on I've been saying that COPPP is not APC. APC isn't COPPP. APC been do what they be able to do then. We're not talking about the APC of yesteryear or yesterday. We're talking about the APC of today. There's an APC that is functioning within an organization that didn't exist. Yes, that didn't exist before. So the very qualities that we need to introduce into a new governance is what COPPP brings to the table. Believe me. In other words, with COPPP, we destroy tribalism because all the tribes are in. We destroy regionalism because all the regions represented. We destroy fundamentally this gender question. Now I'll tell you something. This is not a COPPP policy, but this is an MPD policy. We are the first party anywhere in the world to commit to gender alternation. After me, the next chairman will be woman. And after that woman, the next chairperson after that could be man.
So now
in other words, all the leadership.
How many years you will be chairman for?
Well, me in NPD, you are able to do 2 terms. Okay. 2 terms, 5 years each, 2 terms. But I'm not even seeking to do a second term. Because I want as an example for the next chairman or chairperson to be a woman. Because that is the fundamental difference, one of the fundamental difference. We go so far as to say the state should have the same policy of gender alternation. So the next president, yes.
What do you party really? What do you political party really go bring at the table? What is significant for make like the COPPP succeed?
Right. Do you want to tell the economic terms or the bill? Which area do you want me to explore? No, well, it is the political terms.
In terms of because if a political party like the bank on one in membership, I believe say that they play a great role in in political party for the influencer. So for make una get COPPP, okay, so what you una they bring? Whose influence una get? How una go able make the other like in this sense, the APC now they represent like the political party to and a member of COPPP. So what you wanna they bring will go benefit APC or COPPP for make them succeed?
One of the criticism where people let me make both against the APC and SLPP is they tended to be tribal. That there was a kind of tribal dominance in APC or tribal dominance in SLPP. So one of the problems that people have criticized the APC in the past is this thing about tribalism. Another thing they criticized the APC about in the past, they said, oh, listen, that there was corruption. Those are just 2 examples of criticism they've made about the APC. What is the difference with COPPP? Tribalism will have no purchase in the government that's coming because all the tribes then go together.
Yeah, you will not say that in a day against tribalism.
But this is something that we COPPP faced. Now COPPP faced this thing up. COPPP is also the institution that is obliged.
How significant is COPPP really?
How significant? Well, you will see when we'll do our declaration in, I think, in a week or 2 weeks. You will then see as the campaign unfolds, you will see how significant. Let me tell you why we're significant. Please, just give me a few. Let me tell you why. What do you make me significant? The problem, in my view, not to winning the election. We will win. I have no doubt we'll win. The problem will be governance. And that is where COPPP must make its weight felt. We want a proper national governance. For the first time, we want to have in Sierra Leone a genuinely national government that has all tribes, all regions. That is what is going to be unique about what you really go through. So when I say this election is epoch defining, not that time. We have never had a truly national government here. The closest we had to that was with the late Milton Magai. That first SLPP government was an attempt to be genuinely inclusive. His brother went directly in the opposite direction. And we've had this problem all the way to now. The first attempt, the first successful attempt of really bringing this country back together, of knitting this country back together, it's being done in COPPP. So APC, that's how you will see that APC is different.
So okay, let's say apart from the APC, we get other political party the way from this COPPP. What you una get membership across the country or not just free town no more concentrate?
No. Listen, MPD has on our membership list, we have nearly 20,000 members.
Okay.
That's just MPD. UP, C4C, PDP, several of these parties. So it's not that we don't have a connection. That is not the issue. It's whether we can aggregate, face that support there into one line. The problem we have in Sierra Leone, and we had it even before, 17 parties, we all chase the same number of voters. And we have 2 parties that have a major support base. But let's not forget these parties, 30-35% apiece. That means we have a 3-cornered fight. APC, SLPP, and the rest.
Still then get over 10 parties them we don't fill in them presidential candidates them. Then get over 10, right?
Yes, but you know what I can say, and we need to look at that properly. There are 10 parties that have fielded presidential candidates. But I think they know, we know, that really none of those 10 are going to make a significant impact. None of them. Believe it. And this is why COPPP carries the weight it does. If you look at the aggregate vote of all the parties, before this issue, the last election, the original members of COPPP had mustered over 55% of the first vote in the last election. You know, in the last election, we had 55% of the 13 parties that initially signed into COPPP. They garnered over 55% of the national vote in the last election, first round. Now, as we stand, if you aggregate the vote of the parties that are in COPPP now, APC, UP, MPD, C4C, PMDC, if you aggregate all those votes, you will find that we cross over the threshold of 50% plus 1. We cross that threshold. And that's before we even begin to campaign. You know, that's what the figures are right now. By the time we campaign, where we go in, where this country, I can see all the leaders them of COPPP, all the leaders them of APC, and they see the guarantee.
Even though you say, but how soon that will be? How soon we go see COPPP members them with Dr. Samura Kamara, the crisscross Sierra Leone during campaign?
Right. Within the next week or 10 days, a maximum 2 weeks, there will be a declaration by COPPP. We will then publicly declare who or what we support, who has our support who we endorse, who we say, Naya, we within a COPPP, now this ticket here we support. And we will go out and campaign for that ticket. And that is what the difference is going to be. That is what is never.
What are the challenges right now where una COPPP and through maybe the APC, whose challenges una they face in these elections?
Oh, massive. They've introduced all kinds of obstacles. You know, there was, I don't know if you don't look at how they set up this list business, this district list proportional representation. Then don't, as it were, define 16 districts. 16. And within that 16 districts, they then distribute 132 or 36 seats in parliament. Now, here's the thing. The way they do it, like in some areas, say a place like I don't know, Pujeru, then go say that this seat there, say can send 10 MPs to parliament. Every party of the 16, or in this case 13 parties, therefore present a list with their own candidate. Say if now 10 seats in our place, they get to produce a list of 20 candidates. That is the 10 and 10 reserve. And here's the thing. They insist, say, that party for pay for all 20 candidates will they get. Even though 10 of them, most likely 10 of them not going to come into this thing at all. Now imagine what that means. They're imposing financial burden on these parties. You need nearly $1 billion leons to get representative now that constitutes every party. Now consider this. In Sierra Leone, where the majority of the people actually earn less than $2 a day, we've offended nearly $1 billion leons just for letting people then stand at the constituencies. Obviously, that is an attempt to close the political space. It's an attempt to disenfranchise the people. All that we get for looking into, and all that, those are the problems we had to face. And now, the living resources the way we get, now we put inside this campaign for this election. We not get access to the treasury now. We not get access to that. But what do we get? Now the support of the people. Believe me, any sign of this country where you go, whether south or east or north or west, or you find a body of support that's unshakable. We don't vince. We want change. And not to know me nobody said that. I was up in Bo the other day. I talked to all kinds of people, from people that already woke to people that were political leaders. So, you know, one constant thing with all man they say, inside Bo, but we want change. Each time don't reach for change. Now, if they're saying that in Bo, imagine what the rest of the country say.
So what you could tell me in terms of security, like would they see some issues that can happen? Like yesterday, we get report from Falaba district where they say police them been go, some people they run away. But even though we not hear any official report from APC, or we not hear any denial from police and say no, police they not been go there, or from SLPP, we not hear anything. But what I will tell you in terms of security and for a party for go campaign everywhere na salon in peace. What you will tell me about that situation?
Listen, I think say we understand say these are very difficult times. It's not going to be easy. Let me not fool yourself. This is where you can, so it will not be easy. Because the regime in power recognizes it has a great deal to lose. Let me say it. At the same time, we at the progressive opposition know that we are obliged to deliver for the people. So it's going to be difficult. And what we have on our side are the numbers. We have the people. So in this, the fair way to do so, we use the ballot as the weapon for change, as the vehicle for change. Look, this whole problem we get now, not to today begin. from way back over the last 2-3 years. First of all, the regime B1 remove political parties from local politics. Then B1 deny access to local politics by political parties. That would have been the first step to a one-party state. COPPP challenge them, then stand back from that. Then we want literally use the cyber crime issue for sustained further repression. We challenge them and begin make some small step backwards. On several of these issues, even this attempt where they don't face now for this proportional representation. The only reason where they face that now, because they feel saying that the way that for break the opposition. Because they want to broke the opposition, the COPPP in particular, into 16 or 17 different parties, then they chase this election year. And so until people don't notice, in the new dispensation, where before the statutes and constitution may allow parties then to form a coalition, now yeah, you can no longer do it. You can, believe me, they've removed that as an option. What to make you feel said and do that? Because COPPP was seen as a threat. The potential of COPPP to resolve this issue and to win election was a massive threat. Now make them go after NGC. Now make them pull them go one side. Now make all some of these other parties have been either intimidated or terrorized.
What's your opinion regarding the NGC SLPP alliance?
You know, there used to be an old thing about a marriage of convenience. We have to understand SLPP had no choice. It had to break away parties from COPPP. I mean, it's standard politics 101. They regard the opposition as they are, and then get to weaken that opposition. And fortunately, unfortunately, they were able to do so with regard to NGC. Let me say this, NGC is a founder member of COPPP. Dennis Wright, myself, Scandrick, etc., were the people who actually started COPPP, and then we engaged with the then Secretary General, Ambassador Yassane. And the term progressive was introduced into our name by Ambassador Yassane. We were political parties. He was the one who insisted we introduce the term progressive political parties. So you can see COPPP has a deep connection with the APC. And they were clear on this issue. And from there, that's how COPPP grew. It grew because we wanted to have an impact in some of the what we consider to be the cause of intimidation, oppression, the abuse of power. Now we could challenge this issue about the cyber crime issue. Now we could challenge this issue about an attempt to remove political parties from local government. Now we could challenge all these issues. We raised the issue about expenses. We raised the issue about cost of living. It was COPPP that itemized the cost of living in 2018 and the cost of living, the price of commodities now. It was COPPP in research.
Thank you very much. We'll not get much time again left. But I go one for make we touch on the ID cards them. Like would they prepare for going to the polls at any let's say June 24th, and they far. So waiting now na take on that issue they now then don't resolve the issues them wanna get with ECSL or waiting wanna get for do next.
It's not fully resolved because there are several issues. One is the quality of the cards themselves. And secondly, we don't hear Boku story about false cards them, but fake cards them. We don't hear story about how they claim that some elements of the regime have been, what in the word Dabaru mean? The term Dabaru. The current regime has been performing all kinds of dubious activities that lessens and creates doubt in the efficacy, the genuineness of the Nkadi. We are concerned that This could lead to not just gerrymandering, but delivering a flawed result in this election. We don't hear you say how they don't take them card, they get at people in Libya or get at people in Guinea and give them this card. That does not bode well. And what you will try to do now, all COPPP members, all the parties in COPPP members are extremely vigilant. We're pursuing these complaints diligently and continuously. We will make sure that this process is not abused. And here we must also thank some of our international partners who have deployed a great deal of technology, a great deal of personnel to keep an eye on this whole process. In other words, personally, my party is not happy with the position of these ID cards. We are not happy at all. We don't feel they're secure. We don't feel that we have yet got to a position where they can be trusted as they are. We're hoping to hear from the ECSL. We're hoping to hear from the government also.
Don't say we're not hearing from the ECSL. What you gonna go do?
What do we go do? Well, Boku, this is the point. I mean, we of COPPP, we intend to make a public demonstration. I think that the public needs to be heard. We're not going to waka go panistia. We're not the waka go panistia. We're not going to walk to the future backwards. Again, we will not do that.
But you know, if you say like how elections they come closer, so if you call for, let's say, protest or anything, it go cause some problem for una, especially you know now how the security can handle such situation, and we don't even see self police in the one
Yes.
like that issue dey. So you know, if you say una go put una the lives of una supporters them in danger if una call for demonstration.
Well, that is the calculus that we have to make. Believe me, what do we say? Stop exercising our rights, stop voicing the will of the people because we are intimidated by the regime. No, I think we cannot masquerade as leaders of this nation or leaders of the citizens of this nation. But we go behind, we didn't shout, we are waiting and say, hey, we're not behave. No, we are going to operate within the confines of the law. We will not violate the law.
So
but it is our democratic right to demonstrate.
Still stands.
Sorry,
but the option of demonstrating should they refuse to look into your matter still stands.
Yes. Well, look, when I say demonstration, let me make this point clear.
Okay.
We hope we will get a positive response from the ESCL, from the government, with regards to our concerns concerning the ID cards and so on, concerning the voting register and so on. All the things they will get concerned with. We want to have a government's response that is not just credible, but indicates that the government really understands what is at issue. Insofar as the government responds in that manner, we have no problem with going forward. If the government takes the attitude that it can run roughshod over the will of the people, it can simply impose this or impose that, it can simply drive this nation to the precipice of a catastrophe, then believe you me, they will do well to pause a while. Because the people will not be denied their rights. Believe you me. No amount of intimidation, will alter that. We will have our rights and we will have it come what may.
Okay.
That is what we have to understand.
Thank you very much. Before we go again, I just want to know how prepared are you for protect? Una feel say una go able protect one, because we see like okay, people in the talk about intimidation and other thing. Una able protect una supporters them than na one two. Una really get the capacity for protect una vote.
And this will come as a surprise. I would say this is 100% certainty. We will protect every vote that's delivered on the 24th of June. And our supporters We are far removed from being a violent crew, but don't underestimate our ability to defend our rights. And make no mistake about it. We're not asking or begging. We are demanding our rights. And we will demand that with our votes. And let me tell you this, and we can make this clear to the regime. They would be insane to tamper and try and deny the public's vote this time. They will be insane to try and deny this nation's will this time. There will be no ambiguity here. We win those votes, we will change this government. Long overdue. So let me for work like say we afraid, like say we these people do not have the support of this nation. And they must go. Simple. And to demonstrate that, we will the vote on the 24th, we will show that. And then you will see a new Sierra Leone. You will see a nation that has promised so much and delivered so little.
So what do you go say? What do you go tell like those people who are sitting on the fence, like waiting to see now until una don APC don't count the manifesto? Maybe people can get for read and compare and contrast. But before that, before they take that decision day, as a COPPP member, what do you go tell them people that will sit on the fence?
As a COPPP member, all I get for tell now, please understand which side we are right now. This is one of the most momentous periods in our history. And I say momentous. This period, the outcome of this election with the council could determine the trajectory of this nation. That is what we're doing now. You see, we're picking them. What is going to happen in this election could determine the kind of adults with them people they go. Which kind of salon we go get? Now, salon where half the time most of the people are not even able to buy the rest per month. You know, 600,000-700,000 for rest now. Bonga don't go up over 1,900% since 2018.
So if una come, how long you go take una for reverse that trend?
Personally, I think if we come, I think we should outline what we'll do in the first 100 days, what we'll do in the first year, what we'll do in the first 5 years. In other words, we'll be able to.
Answer you not get them for we now.
The answer to tell you what we will do? Yes. No, the manifestos. No, what I will be telling you is what the government will do. What has been done today, various manifestos, and there will be a COPPP manifesto to follow.
Okay.
And this is the point. And as we get to the election, we will outline exactly what we will do in the first 100 days, in the first year. And the nation should hold us to that. That is how we'll be different. None of us say we can't say, look, we'll go do this, we'll do that. Then we relax and sit down. No. We will give you a timeline. And we should hold the government to that. That will show you how we are different. That is one. And I say this again, we must, from get-go, address those who are suffering most right now. And the people who are suffering most right now, now those that have to live on what is currently termed the minimum wage. Then one day when they will feed them picking them 2-3 times a day. When they lucky, they get one meal a day. Then one way, literally, they live in some of the most filthy conditions in this nation, in our capital. Then one day where you see that basic medical care they don't get access to. Basic medical care they don't get access to. Then one day, they have to be our first priority. Living wage. Let me begin respect to yourself. If you say you're not a Salon citizen, the least you can expect, and I will say this nation, we can feed ourselves, we feed you. We can give you some side for tap. And if you're sick, we give you medical care. If we're not able to do that, we're not for call ourselves a nation, we're not for call ourselves Salon. And it shouldn't be a debate under any circumstances. And forget the government that's incapable of doing that. What is the point?
So what do you go tell Sierra Leoneans them where they watch you right now around the world and where they inside Salon? waiting now your final message where you get for them.
Vote, 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 and shape the destiny of our nation. If you don't do nothing else on the 24th, vote. And vote not just your conscience, but vote for this nation. Not a question, I vote for this man because not the same tribe or not this region, they come out or not this talk. No. Vote for this nation. This is not the first election we get where the issue is this nation. The issue not to Tembe, Mende, Creole, or not to that not the issue. Not to Southwest, no. Namama Salon. For the first time, we likely to get a government that is genuinely national, genuinely unified. Una vote for the party where COPPP they can announce on the ticket where COPPP they can declare for. We will endorse a ticket.
That party they already, because you don't talk good things about Dr. Samura Kamara. So we they assume say that party they na APC?
Yeah, let me move from assumptions. The reason why I say we will announce them, for this reason. I can speak of my personal preference and the preference of my party. I can do that. I can tell you now of the options, since we not qualified, or rather we were disqualified by PPRC, since they disqualified me. Insofar as a second, we definitely will support Samura because he's the most able, and in this time, in Sierra Leone's destiny, we need someone with a clear vision in terms of finance and economic development. There is no other peer in Sierra Leone that comes close. And we will be extremely stupid not to use that talent. That is in terms of developing our economy and developmental politics. But Sierra Leone needs more than that. My view is Samura needs a team of able, committed, dedicated, visionary that love this nation. This is what patriotism is all about. We need empower lovers of the nation that love this nation more than they love their tribe, their region, and all the other peripheral issues. And in my view, a government led by Samura will have all those qualities. And I say this again, a government led by Samura, in my view, has all the qualities necessary to transform this nation.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Wadi Williams, the leader of NDP and
NPD, National Progressive Democrats.
Okay, sorry about that. The leader of NPD and then a strong member of COPPP. So with the wait again, we believe say maybe if una make una declaration as to whether una the throw una weight behind and una make una own stance, and maybe some you been talk about something like manifesto like or something.
Yes.
Or then we go likely bring you back now this program for make you throw light on certain issues. But thank you very much. We appreciate your time, and then we really glad for the information where you don't give it.
Well, listen, I can't even say thank you enough. When I thank you. And I hope say then kind conversations, yeah, are just the beginning. What I tell you, after June 24th, when I go see a salon, we will go marvel them. You know all them dream we don't get? We don't see them find them. We don't, then they come. We will deliver. Believe you me. The one difference between us and what has happened before is that we will deliver. Mark my words. You know, and so let me thank you again. I say fam with them. But I thank you. I hope say I don't make too much noise now in our life, yeah.
Thank you so much.
If I make too much noise, I make. But I understand these are absolutely crucial times.
Yeah.
Salon, we need that energy, Diego. Let me take this country go before. Stay solid. All right, my brother. Okay. I hope we speak again soon. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Indeed.
That's now been Mr. Wadi Williams. We've been the talk to una. So fumble them. This now how we end the program. And then I thank una all we don't make comment, and then we take una precious time for watch this program.
Thank you.
Until we meet
Thank
again,
you.
na me Cycle John they say tata.